Georgia wide receiver Zachariah Branch, I happen to believe, is set to break out here in 2025. We'll unpack why I believe that is in a matter of moments. Before we do that, though, Georgia fans, college football sickos, make sure you are dialed in right here to the On3 YouTube channel. The best way to be dialed in is by being subscribed. This is a series that I think we might start doing a little bit more content around players that we think are going to break out. But who better to get this thing rolling than Zachariah Branch transferring in from USC to Georgia. And this is a dude now that ability's never really been the issue for him. I think you could look at what USC was last year, and there's a lot of different things I think you could point to. Some of it, definitely the blame falls on Zachariah Branch, but like we all saw what he was as a true freshman. We all got to see the introduction to college football that he had for us when he ran back that kickoff. Also another touchdown in that game, I think, as a receiver. Like, the dude is special with the ball in his hands. 5-star plus kind of guy out of high school. We know he can play, or at least I happen to still believe he can play. And if you don't believe he can play, I would ask you to go maybe do a little bit more digging on his profile, and we can talk about that in the future. But the reason why I'm so confident in Zachariah Branch having success in 2025 for Georgia is when you listen to people talk about Zachariah Branch so far in Athens, in his few months he's been there, you hear people talk about him just consistently doing the right things. Hey, he's staying after, doing extra work. He's pushing the wide receiver room to get out there and work like him and all those things. And that's kind of cliche, and I hear that maybe it's just kind of spring propaganda, which we appreciate and we're here for. But I can't help but feel a little bit like guys who do the right things in a place like Georgia, you usually get great results. And that's not knocking USC. If you've watched this show, you know I'm very high on USC here in 2025. But the reason why I feel that way is, the process at Georgia is so dialed in and so proven to where if you commit to it and you give to it what it's supposed to get, you get out what you're supposed to get from the process. Like, you see Ladd McConkey, what he was at Georgia, came in as a lower profile recruit, now he's making plays in the NFL. Brock Bowers was not a lower profile recruit, but stuck to the system. Got out what he was supposed to get out of that. I think you could point to a lot of different examples across the board at Georgia for guys that have trusted the process and had one good year at Georgia and then made a lot of money in the NFL. Not even making a conversation around what Zachariah Branch is going to be when he gets to the next level. But I do think now, with the fit at Georgia around him systematically, with what they do at a process level, I think that's going to ultimately benefit Zachariah Branch. He's going to see a lot of return on investment there. Now, from a schematic standpoint, I really like the fit for Georgia. And we've said this a couple times, but what's one of the main knocks people have for Mike Bobo as a coordinator? And I'm not here to discuss whether it's fair or not. We've had that discussion before, but people get frustrated by the number of horizontal passing plays that Mike Bobo calls. Talking about the tunnel screens, the bubble screens, whatever. And that's your prerogative. I'm not here to unpack that too much more. But I would say, what is the screenplay supposed to do for your offense? What is it supposed to do? It's supposed to get the football in a playmaker's hands and let him work after the catch. That's Zachariah Branch to a T. All-American return specialist a couple years ago. Get the ball in his hands, good things happen. Also, you got a quarterback in Gunnar Stockton who's going into his first year as starting quarterback. It doesn't hurt to be able to take a one-step drop, look off to that tunnel screen, drop it down to Zachariah Branch, and have a 10 yards in the air kind of pass horizontally, go for 35 vertically. Like, just from simply dropping it off, it allows your offense to get some rhythm, allows Gunnar Stockton to build some confidence, and it allows you to easily get the ball to a playmaker in Zachariah Branch. So if you weren't thrilled about the way that whole offense ran a season ago, I understand your pushback. I think there's a lot of things you could point to, one of which maybe being the running game not being quite as Georgia-ish as it was in the past. But the screen game, I think, is going to fit perfectly with Zachariah Branch's skill set. And then in addition to that, there's a lot of other weapons around Georgia offensively now via the portal, via the high school level, that will provide some other changes of pace for the offense to where Zachariah Branch will also be freed up to do more than just the screen game. So bottom line, man, I think he's set to break out. I love the fit for him at Georgia from his commitment to the process and what people get out of the process at Georgia. I think that the ability for him is still very much so there from what he was as a recruit. I don't think what we saw from him early on in his career at USC was just a flash in the pan or a matter of circumstance. I'm very excited for him at Georgia this upcoming season. I think he's going to do big production numbers for them here in 2025. So, Georgia fans, Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your expectations around Zachariah Branch here for your upcoming season for Georgia. But needless to say, we think he's going to break out. Also in the comment section, let us know who you want us to see or who you want to see us unpack next when it comes to potential breakout players in 2025. Kane Smith on the ones and the twos, myself, Jody PicKell. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We'll keep this party rolling, baby. We will see y'all next time.